Hey yo, good morning to you. Happy Thursday to everybody. Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. Y'all know how that thing goes. Gotta do that kid drop off stuff. So I got caught in a little line, but I'm here, stop, drop, and roll, and ready for the show. So I hope everyone's doing good, man. I hope it's the last Thursday of the month. Hitting into Friday. Friday will be the last Friday of the month, and then we get into March. And then we're getting ready for March Madness and everything. So I'm excited, man. I got we had a town hall meeting last night by Chris Del Conte. Really interesting meeting, by the way, fascinating. Props to South End Zone Queen for reminding me about it. She asked me on Monday, she's like, you go to the town hall meeting? I'm like, what are you talking about? I forgot about it. So anyway, got a chance to watch it live. Thank you. For the LHN network came in strong because I was able to actually watch it live while literally I was at my son's soccer practice, and I'm literally watching on my phone and live tweeting out everything and screenshotting and stuff. Technology is fantastic. So we're going to talk about all those things that happened there. There's a lot of cool, little, interesting things that happened. So I'm definitely want to kind of dive into some of those subjects. And we'll talk about some other little things. Man, by the way, hit like if you haven't done it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it as well. Man, before we even get started on anything, before we even just go down, just too deep in anything, damn, Trey Johnson. My goodness. Did y'all watch that game last night? Did you watch it? That was an absolute, let's just ignore the end result for a second. But just looking at how he performed, like, we all know Trey is going to be a lottery pick. We all know he's legit. But you know what's special? When in basketball is this thing more so than most other sports, where everybody knows who's about to get the ball, and you still can't stop them. And that's what Trey was doing. Like, we all knew it was like old school, just clear out. And my man was cooking. I'm talking about cooking. It's unfortunate because that kind of performance deserved a win. It's unfortunate that he did not get the dub that he deserved. But man, just salute to him going on the road. They were able to get Arkansas, and I know a lot of y'all are frustrated, with the men's basketball team and everything, as associated with that. I was hoping that they may have been able to pull off the dub, but just watching basketball, watching him perform, that was absolutely 100% special. Hey, and also, real quick, y'all, before we get too far down into the weeds here, we're doing like a survey. I don't know if I'm going to drop this in the chat here as well. If you have time and you want to kind of give some feedback on this show, not only this show but other shows, here you go. Please take the time to do so. That would definitely be appreciative. I put the survey thing. Okay, this sucks. I put this orange blood survey thing on. Okay, here we go. Okay, it was all on the screen. If you get a chance sometime today or tomorrow, you fill out the survey. Let us know what Rodolfo, you have time to be a hater. You have time to fill out a survey. Just take time out of your hate and just be like, you know what? Instead of hating on folks, I'm just going to take time to fill out a little bit of a survey. If you could. Or if you there's parts of the survey, if you just want to skip over some and you just want to give feedback on my show, you can just do that. That in itself will probably only be about, I think, maybe 7-8 questions, something like that. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, if you could, I appreciate it. It'll help us know as we try to go and grow the channel. Want to do the things that you guys want us to do and not just do crap that everybody else is, we're just making up shit and y'all just like, oh, we don't like that. We don't rock with that. So appreciate it. All right. So Chris O'Connor had his town hall yesterday, and again, it was an interesting thing. By the way, I don't know if y'all watch this, and I'm going to say this. I don't follow necessarily the baseball team that hard, but damn, I didn't realize how many people were upset about like the parking situation with the baseball team. I did not know the vitriol that was there because people were just like, oh snap, like they were going in, like they were interrupting Del Conte and everything. Like I was like, damn, like what just happened? So it was, as a person who just sometimes likes to just watch the, one of my, I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you, it's a horrible thing about me. It's a horrible thing. But sometimes one of my guilty things that I like to watch is like on like Twitter or X or something, when you watch like fights, like street fights and people get knocked out or whatever. I don't know what it is. I guess I just like fights or something. Not like women though. I don't like not like man on women or something like that. But so when I was watching them going back and forth, I was like, well, I'm grabbing my popcorn. Y'all baseball people are pissed off and y'all giving it to Del Conte. So the one thing I've been telling y'all for a while has been, and I've been telling y'all this, if you've watched the show, I've been telling y'all this since January, probably mid or to very late at the latest. But I've been telling y'all for a hot minute, if you're thinking about there's going to be a spring game, y'all could cancel Christmas, right? I've been telling you, I've been trying to tell everybody that. I've been trying to warn everybody about that thing. And look, Chris O'Connor, it's already kind of been confirmed before, but he kind of gave you the kind of the finality of we're not going to do a spring game, and he kind of explained the thought process behind the spring, where they're at. And so, look, you can mark your calendars for April 26th, which is going to be something called a Fan Day, which is he says Fan Day events include photo opportunities, team shop fire sale, team autographs, much more to come. What you haven't heard was anything that's going to happen on the field. Even people who are like as optimistic and say like, okay, well, maybe they'll just run some sort of practice that day. It looks like it's a day to go out and be a Texas fan and get some pictures. But he doesn't say there's going to be anything as relates to any kind of on the field football activities, right? And this kind of goes back to what I have been talking about and kind of reporting for a while, which is just the feeling inside the building, the sentiment just being that it's a long year. They're basically starting in January, they're ending in January. They had 17 days off from the time the Cotton Bowl ended until they started winter conditioning. And Sark is going to treat this off season like OTAs. And so because he's going to treat the season like OTAs, what he's not going to do is really start pounding the ground and everything in the spring and really try to preserve their bodies for the long haul. And if you even heard Del Conte, he's kind of like, all right, everybody understand? Everybody on the same page? You know how everybody on the same page. And so he kind of did talk about, okay, this is what that whole thing looks like. Chris wouldn't mind me poking fun at me. He pokes. I poke fun at him, and by the way, he pokes fun at me when he and I talk. So it's all good. So now that officially, for those of y'all who could kind of thought to yourself, all right, well, maybe there's going to be something. I think it's literally just looking like picture day. Which, by the way, if you like pictures and you want to go buy and spend some merch and buy some merch, like that's cool. That's absolutely cool. But it doesn't look like it's going to be anything as relates to a game. And so it'll be interesting to see. You guys will then have to. I'm sorry, Benji, the survey is long. I kind of skimmed through it. Just, Benji, just fill out the parts that you want to fill out then. Just I think you can submit it. Just fill out what you like to. I think there's a general portion of it, and just fill out something like about my show, or another show or something like that. I apologize if it's long. We're just trying to get some feedback. So officially no spring game, but you can mark your calendar for some sort of Longhorn event that's going to happen and going to occur in the future. The other thing that Del Conte talked about was kind of gave a quick little facilities update. Look, they're working towards this. They're working towards getting this thing done. I think you guys have seen the mock-up of this thing before, which is going to be the indoor facility. If you've ever seen the bubble, if you ever have had the opportunity to go inside the current Texas Longhorn indoor facility, you would know that there are high school facilities that look better than this. I remember there was I think Texas must have been playing several years ago. I think they're playing in what's the one in Houston? Is that the Texas Bowl? And so anyway, I remember that they had a practice over at the University of Houston, the indoor facility. And I walked in there. I was like, damn, Houston's got a better facility than Texas? And of course, I mean, hell, go out to Melissa and they got better facilities, man. Like Melissa rocking, by the way. And so, they are working on getting this thing in a little bit more of a state of the arts kind of thing, which they absolutely need. They absolutely need that upgrade. It's the bubble, for lack of better terms, is pretty much trash. I hate to say that, but the bubble for the most part is pretty much trash. So well, at least they'll be able to have that. There's supposed to be another one, and I could have sworn I asked my guy to enter that in. He did not. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. He does a good job with the other things. And I asked him, so basically the real interesting portion of it, and let me see if this is it. Nope. This. Yeah. Okay. So the interesting thing was, as you know, we start talking about like what the new scholarship limits are going to look like. It was really interesting. And man, I feel like there's two things I want to say. One, it was I wish we had men's soccer at UT. I just really do. SMU has the only Division I program in the state, and so I do wish there was men's soccer at UT. And I'd probably just say that more so as a soccer dad. Two, I could not believe the conversation that was generated, because there was a guy, I don't know his name, and I was watching it live, right? So, but apparently he plays for some sort of pickleball rec team at UT. You know, UT's got those teams because they also got that Harry Potter team that competes against other programs. And so I guess there's a pickleball team. And it was really fascinating the amount of people when I tweeted that out that had something to say about pickleball, because the guy's like, he wanted pickleball to be part of like the program at UT. And Del Conte had to say like, okay, just so we're clear, pickleball is not an NCAA sport. And the people who responded to this, you guys know, like, you guys have friends, like, they're pickleball fanatics, man. Like, they're people who are really into this, like, really, which is crazy. South Enzo Ween could co-sign on this. Pickleball started off as basically something for older people that it was like, hey, like you can't get up and down a tennis court. So we'll go, pickleball will probably be the thing for you. And it's like, oh, this is good. And now it's just like a popular thing. What's that place in San Antonio called? Like pickle. There's a big place in San Antonio that's called Sweet Pickle or something like that. I've been out there before. So I can't remember it because I've only played pickleball a couple of times. It was the pickleball conversation is fascinating one to me. It's fascinating, but literally that's not what it is. Now, what's crazy is look at some of the numbers, man. Women's rowing is about to blow up. They got 20 existing scholarships. They're going to go to 68 for women's rowing. Who knew? Did y'all know? Man, I ain't know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know. You can see that women's soccer will have more there as well. More for the women's swim team. Like that's going to be a hell of an increase as well. Tennis will get 2 more scholarships. Cross country, no love. Women's indoor and outdoor track, woo, 18 to 45 is going to be crazy. And then of course the beach volleyball, the numbers are going to go up for that. And one of the things that he kind of explained is that a lot of times, there's some crossover from the girls women who play volleyball indoor, and then of course will play beach as well. So they're kind of increasing the beach volleyball things, and so to kind of strengthen the indoor volleyball. But 6 to 19, fellas, hold in your sophomoric humor, because I know all you guys are into beach volleyball, but for all the wrong reasons. I'm all the right reasons, but not the real reason, which is actually supporting the sport. Y'all just trying to look. Then there's men's baseball, which is going to explode and have another 13 or so slots there. 7 going from 11.7 to 25. Men's basketball, you can see, gets a couple more. Football kind of remains the same. Golf gets a little bit of a bump. Men's, swimming and diving. Tennis, cross country, no love. And of course, the indoor/outdoor track. My cross country can't get no love. Damn. Now folks wake up early. I remember when I was a high school writer that covered high school sports. Man, I didn't realize how early you had to wake up. Those people woke up to run cross country. I was like, y'all are gangster with this thing. But no love for them. And so those are what's going to look like, some of the limits. Now here became the interesting thing. Y'all should have known this was coming. So actually, I'll hold off on that. I'm gonna hold off for that. I got another one. The interesting thing, y'all should have known this was coming. With success always comes with a price. And you had to know that as a University of Texas fan and with Arch Manning, ticket price is about to go up. And which means your donations will need to potentially go up as well, right? And so you start seeing what the ticket prices were for, and this is season ticket renewals, but you kind of see what the ticket prices were in 2024. And then you get to see what they are in 2025. But I feel like there's some caveats there. But again, you season ticket holders could probably explain this a little bit better. But you still have to have, there still needs to be some donations that are dished out that usually end up being kind of substantial for you to really get the tickets that you want to have. But you had to know that this thing is going up. And look, if it's going up here, for those of you guys who buy individual tickets, just understand that when you get on your SeatGeeks or whatever the hell you're going to get on, you are going... It's a robbery now. Get on the ground. Give me your wallet and hush your mouth. Like, just know Your money, your keys. It's about to go down in University of Texas and in this era. And of course, they're going to have to pay for, obviously these schools got to start paying students and things to that effect. And so there's just a trickle down effect. It's NIL, there's all kinds of things that are involved. And so you guys are going to pay for that. And I think everyone kind of goes into it understanding that. But yes, there is that. By the way, Barb's 10. Hold on, I'll go back to. I see your thing in here. So let me get to what Barb's wants to talk about. I will. Okay, well, I just hit the wrong button. Barb's 10 has a question here. He wants to know who. I want to know who brought up pickleball as a sport before gymnastics, men's soccer, or even ice hockey. Props for breaking all the news. Surveys done. Thank you, Barb's. Somebody who plays pickleball. Somebody who plays pickleball at the University of Texas. I don't know who this person is. I guarantee you, he is a hero in the pickleball community. I guarantee you, he is a hero in the pickleball community, right? Like he's that person that went back, like in that group chat, right? And they were like, "Man, I am so glad that somebody finally stood up to him." And even Conte was like, "You guys kind of ambushed me here." What's that place in San Antonio called? Y'all know what I'm talking about? But anyway, yes, out of all the things that could have been brought up, and out of all, like, again, to your point, gymnastics, men's soccer, ice hockey, all those kind of things, pickleball. Are y'all pickleball people? It's too much of a fad to me. I don't know. It's just I don't get down with fads like that. It's kind of like the march to the beat of my own drum. But something's like a ooh, this is the newest fad, like everyone's doing it. I'm just like, I'll let y'all be over there. It's crazy though. I live somewhere they have they have tennis courts in my community. And I noticed, I think it was last year or something, they also roll out the pickleball courts as well. So now you got to make reservations to play pickleball. I'm like, man, y'all are on something else. So here was something that I thought was a little interesting as well. So the subject came up about a 9-game SEC schedule. And Conte explained how and why he wants a 9-game schedule because of Texas OU being a neutral site game. So that basically meaning that there might be years where, let's say that's the away game. And so now you've got 3 games that are going to conference games that are technically, but that's the home game. You still have 3 games that are technically conference games that are at DKR in that particular year. And so, he wants to make sure if you can have 9, that will be better. So at least you have 4 conference away, 4 conference at home. Here's the problem with it, and I get it. But here's the problem where Chris is going to have an issue, and he's going to be he said the people in the SEC don't appreciate the conversation with him when he brings that up, is because the SEC is saying to themselves, "Look, man, our conference is hard enough. It's hard enough. It's hard enough getting out of here with 8. Why are we going to risk the potential of another loss and not have a team in the playoffs?" And you saw what happened this past year, with the Alabamas and the Ole Misses of the world, that don't make the playoffs. And it's basically because they got penalized for an additional loss. But then you see other programs that don't play quality competition. And, look, think about the controversy over Indiana all of last year. But because they had a record, they were able to get in, right? And so at the end of the day, the SEC is like, look, this conference is hard enough. We do not need to just cannibalize each other. What we need to do is just do this 8, get 4 easy teams, and get the hell out. And so then, and at least we get to 10-2. It's almost like the SEC wants to present as many winning teams to the committee as possible to get as many teams in there as possible. That's exactly what they want to do. That's why they're just trying behind the scenes. So I think while Chris is thinking about UT and what's best for UT and what works for the fans, the SEC is going to tell him, and the coaches are going to tell him, no, you got to think about what's best for the conference. And what's best for the conference is we play 8 games, we get as many 10-win teams that we can put on the books, and let's get as many teams in there as possible. Now, he was also asked, as relates to that conversation, about playing these tough non-conference games. And look, I've been pretty consistent with this. And if the playoff committee is not going to reward you for the quality of competition, and they're basically just going to look at the overall record, playing the Ohio States, playing Michigan. He said they're going to schedule another tough one at some point that they're going to reveal, or playing a Notre Dame, or whatever the case may be, right? If the committee, if Ohio State's a loss, and then you have 2 conference losses, and you miss the playoffs, now I get it. The flip side is, well, let's go. What if we win? Yes, 100%. What if you win? Like, that's the flip side. That's a flip argument. And look, very valid argument, very valid case to be had. But also, if you just think about it, the other side is like, okay, but you're putting yourself in harm's way. And if the committee just doesn't value it, then they're just not valuing it. And that's the problem. That's the problem for me. If it was me, and of course, they're not going to let me be AD. But you see this San Jose, UTEP, Sam Houston. You see that? Ohio State would be like UTSA. I'll just keep it real. And I will be 4-0, going into conference play. And then once you get it 4-0, going to conference play, I got my momentum up. And now all of a sudden, we got Florida. We got Red River, then and then you kind of go through the rest. But Texas wants to play the Killers, and hey, it has worked to their benefit so far because they have beaten Alabama, or not quite sure that's a word, but they've defeated Alabama. that happened. I don't know if they've beaten them. They have defeated Michigan on the road. So if they go up and defeat Ohio State, yes, it works for your benefit. But it only works for your benefit if you win and not on the other end. So they kind of did get into that. What about this one? I talked about the donations. I feel like there was other things that occurred. It definitely wasn't the scholarship board. So let's get into some of the other topics that was had in here. This was an interesting one. I want to see what y'all thought about this. He was asked about the orange smoke in the student section. Man, listen, he even had to admit, it sounded like a good idea. He said he saw it somewhere and he thought well, that would be cool. And he saw it in soccer. And he thought that would be cool. And what he's probably thinking about, I'm sure it's like an Austin FC game. I'm sure he didn't travel to London. He wasn't at a Liverpool game and saw it or something like that. I'm sure in Austin FC, they have the smoke that comes out towards the beginning. My man, Mike Torres, can co-sign on that. By the way, y'all got to go out to Austin FC game just one time. Just one time. It's so much fun. Even if you don't really love soccer, I'll be honest with you, it's just a fun environment. It's fun. It's fun. I'm just sidebar for a second. Go to a night game. But y'all know what's crazy is I don't know what smoke that they used for out in that south end zone to start the game, but there would be that orange haze that would just cover. He'd be like, bro, what the hell just happened here? Like, where did you buy this from? Where'd you get this off, like a Temu or something like that? Like, who bought this thing? Someone's like, orange smoke. Temu's got it. This should be kind of good. Y'all ever buy something from that Temu place? Anyway, so he had to admit, like, hey, that sounded like a good idea, but it really wasn't a good idea. Is it affordable to attend an Austin FC game? Yeah. Benji, they have something called like a supporter section. If you want to like, and they just stand and they just and they're just wild the whole time. They stand, they do chants the whole time. They throw water. Like, if you like fun party section kind of thing, you can get a ticket for like $30. Add in like your fees and stuff like that. I'd say it's very, very reasonable price if you want to do something like that. If not, you can get one, for maybe like with fees and stuff, another seat, lower level for like $100. So anyway, that north end zone, not south end zone. We know where south end zone, they definitely not gonna do that over there. That's where the money is. They ain't gonna put that smoke over there. Y'all got all the nice little fun stuff over there, like, all your little hors d'oeuvres and drinks and everything and hanging out with the players. It's the north end zone. That's what y'all doing. And so he had to admit, like, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. That was on him. He will absolutely need to take care of that. He will rectify that. In other words, get rid of that smoke. And get rid of that smoke. It really was a bad look because really for the first portion, really the first few minutes of the game, like, you're literally playing in smoke. So that sounded like a good idea on paper, but not executed. The other thing that he said that could end up being famous last words, we shall see. He was asked about putting ads on the football fields and put ads on the jerseys here at UT. He says, his quote was, let's not mess with perfection. Now, everybody's got a price. And look, I hear what he's saying. No, because him. I know y'all young folks used to y'all get mad I'm surprised actually no one of you young people didn't ask him about like new uniforms or alternate uniforms, because I know y'all get really mad when he kind of poo-poos that thing, and it's like, we're not doing that. And I know he's all about, like, we like our uniforms clean and to just be what they are, and it's Texas, and we want our stadium grass to just be grass and not advertising something. All I gotta say is everybody's got a price. And I feel him. I hear what he's saying, but let the right person offer 30 mil, 40 mil, and he's gonna say, well, what's most important to me is the sanctity of the grass. You were like, man, if you don't give me that check and put your logo down there, I spray paint it for you. You know what we're gonna do. We're gonna hang out in the south end zone soon. I wish I could, but I technically am doing this thing called work, which makes it a little bit harder to hang out. I never get to go to a game, but maybe we'll all go. I want to go to like a women's basketball game. I think we should all go to a women's basketball game one day. I think that would be a ton of fun to do that. So that's what Del Conte says. He says it's not going to happen. We shall see. I say the jury is still out on that one. Speaking of basketball, He was asked about where the program was, and of course, this is before last night, and he just basically talked about there being ebbs and flows, and hey, it wasn't that long ago that they were Big 12 champions in basketball. Now they're playing in the toughest conference in basketball, so he's got to support his coach publicly, right? Now, he's also, the thing about Del Conte is that he will always tell you that their goal is to compete for a championship in every sport. We'll see what happens with this team when they get to the conference play and see if, where they are as far as making a tournament and all those kind of things. That will be kind of the biggest determining factor. But I just don't see him as a person who's in a sincere rush or hurry to do anything from the men's basketball perspective. And here's the deal. I'll say the quiet part out loud. I will say the quiet part out loud. If he gets rid of Rodney Terry, then it's almost an admission that they should have never gotten rid of Chris Beard. Maybe maybe they would have jumped the gun a little bit too early. Like that, there are some other things that are tied into that. Because there's people now who say, man, we should have just rode this storm out, let the whole thing clear, because we had that basketball coach and he had this whole thing program going in the right direction. You get rid of Rodney Terry, you almost got to say, like, damn, we made the wrong hire. Even if it's not Chris Beard related, you got to say to make the wrong hire. But there's still people who are like, damn, we were doing better with Chris Beard. Look, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that whole thing that happened. I'm not here to have that specific. This is mainly a sports conversation. So there are some intricacies in a guy who's trying to raise money, paying a buyout, and then paying another person's salary. And it's because not just a buyout, but then it's also bringing in somebody else and their salaries as well. That's going to be higher. You're talking about a huge swing. Just not sure he's ready to do that at this moment. I did think, someone did ask him about going to SMU, and he did have a funny line about who's going to ride a pony. So that part was hilarious. Somebody asked him too about the band. I'll be honest with you, man. It was at times like this meeting was literally, I think it was Ben G that may have called me out about it, but you know how sometimes I make fun of next door because these are like the ultimate first world problems, like the ultimate first world problems. Like someone's got a broken mailbox. Like it's just like, y'all don't know how good you have life. Someone was complaining about something as relates to the band, right? He's like, you must be a band person, right? And then at some point he's just like, you must buy crappy seats. So there's something as relates to that, right? So, some of the people that they were going off were absolutely just hilarious to me. And then I think the last things that I thought was kind of interesting was he talked about the Texas OU game, and anybody who went there last year would have to say that sucked. That sucked. One, it was hot as Hades that day. It really was. And then just trying to navigate the fairgrounds that day sucked. It sucked. It was just too many people that were there. I remember a girl and the kids were there. And I remember it was like, well, I'll go and hang out with y'all beforehand. And just the line to get tickets was ridiculous. Like so I got to experience it for a little bit. Here I am out here in a suit, dying, right? And just the line to get tickets was a pain in the ass. And then trying to get to the stadium itself was a pain in the ass. And how Del Conte kind of described it was like the problem when the game is at 11 o'clock, it typically that the people typically there are usually who get there early, usually the Texas OU fan base, right? So that there's that concentration, and the fair crowd isn't necessarily there yet. But in this year, because it was later, and they was supposed to be more of a quote unquote primetime game, you had the Texas OU crowd mixed in with the fair crowd, plus the construction issue that was there as well. And when you coupled all that together, and it just created something that none of us loved. And so he did say he's going to have to go back to the drawing board as relates to that one and figure it out. Now, the good part about having the game at 11 o'clock, the good part about having a game at 11 o'clock, especially for those who just wanted to leave, like that part was good. The bad part is so many people are out drinking on that Friday night. There are a lot of hungover folk. At that point, So, so it's really interesting to see what he's going to do going forward. I like the 11 o'clock start, quite honest with you. I know a lot of people like the later start. I like the 11 o'clock start just because I think it's fun to get in there, watch the game, and then you want to do some fair stuff afterwards. You can do that for a little bit and then head home. But I know the majority of y'all, I know I'm in the minority as far as that's concerned, and the majority of y'all like it a little bit later. And so, again, we'll see what happens with that. There was one other thing. It's not in – I want to find – no, give me a second to put this up on the screen here. All right, let me work on this. And then let me see if this works. And let me enlarge this. This is the thing that I think is going to be interesting. He talked about – this will be the last thing. He talked about – and this is going to be the pain in the ass. As speaking of traffic, speaking of congestion, that essentially they're tearing down the MLK bridge, and essentially that thing won't be rebuilt until the following year, which basically means getting in and out of DKR is going to be and look, what I normally do, because y'all know I live up north. I normally come in off of Mopac. So I usually come in off of Mopac, and I get off on Enfield Road, and then I take Enfield up into the state. I take Enfield and I make a left on, forget which street it is, and then like that then pushes me out to MLK. I hate to tell everybody my secret because now everybody's going to be doing it, but that's usually the way in the route that I take. But if you are an I-35 person, just know getting in and out this upcoming season is going to be it's going to be challenged. In 6 to 8 weeks, the on-ramp to the northbound I-35 just north of 15th Street will close forever. Cars entering the eastbound on 15th turning left will have to go through the MLK intersection and then get off at IH. Why do you say IH? Just say I-35. And so anyway, they're trying to figure out what to do and try to do a traffic plan. The basic thing that I can tell you as a Texas fan is get there early and be very, very patient when it's time to leave. You might want to just find something to do around the stadium. There's really nothing. There's no places to go. That's probably the only bad part about the stadium, like compared to some other stadiums. Like other stadiums, like they have bars surrounding it, and so you can just go and chill out and sit in a bar for a little bit before here. No matter what, you still got to go somewhere else. But you may just need to figure out a place to go. That's going to be the biggest challenge facing UT fans in the upcoming year, but beyond the season ticket prices, it's so on and so forth. Let me make sure I did not miss. I don't believe I missed anybody's super chat. I think there was only one, which is good. I'm scrolling up. I don't want anybody to say it stole my money. Okay, that was it. Just the pickleball. What is it? Anyway, I forget the name of that. Did anybody ever say what the name of the pickleball place was out? There's a cool ass pickleball place out in San Antonio. It's called, hold on. I'm going to tell y'all real quick. Pickleball San Antonio. Chicken and Pickle. That's what it's called. Chicken and Pickle. If you're ever out there, that place is kind of a cool place. I went out there one time. It was kind of fun. I got bars and everything like that. And then if you're in Austin, like the crossover up by Cedar Park is kind of a cool ass place as well. I am going to ignore that last thing in the chat. I'm not even going to I was about to put the chat on the screen, and then FU Libs kind of takes over. And so on that note, we are going to end this show. It's Thursday. It's the last Thursday of the month. Y'all go out there and do something special for yourself. Remember what I always say, live each day like it should last, because one day it will be. So love yourself. Treat yourself to something special. You absolutely deserve it. I will be back mañana to have a lot of things.